What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Icing the Puck. Here we are, less than a week away from the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we told y'all last week things were going to get really, really crazy, and things were going to be really different by the time the playoffs came around. And oh man, we have some stuff to talk about today. First of all, as always, Jordan, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm a little under the weather today, but I'm here and ready to talk about hockey. That's the important thing.
Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. Some teams happen to be a little bit under the weather as well, apparently, according to these standings. And maybe we'll start it off there. I don't know. Maybe we'll jump right into this here. I want to talk about some of these teams that have been eliminated, specifically here in the Eastern Conference. We go ahead and start off with the big egg that's waiting to be cracked here. The New York Islanders are officially eliminated playoff contention after a lot of controversy, a lot of drama, firing Patrick Waugh, hiring Pete DeBoer, thinking that they can make that last minute push. We talked about it last week. We were going to see what happened. Definitely a big experiment for them with a couple games left. And here they are. They're officially eliminated out of the dance. Tell me what you're thinking about here. How do Islanders fans, how are they feeling about this? Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of took a turn there right at the end for them. I mean, I kind of expected them to make that last minute push and secure that spot. I was thinking, or I was under the impression that they weren't even going to need a last minute push, that they were just going to be in a playoff spot at the time, and they weren't. I mean, was it their last games they did? They went 3-7-0 in their last 10 games. Like, that's not going to do it for you.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these teams that got eliminated around them, and they had a very similar record. So it's like right now, the better teams are in right now, and it just depends on who secures that last spot right there. It gets down to there's a couple teams in that division left that are making that push. I don't. It's kind of a toss up right now in my mind on who gets that last spot there, or those. I guess it's last two spots. It
It's
just
just
kind
the
of
last
depends.
spot. That's it. It's just the
Is it?
last spot in
Oh
the
yeah, it is the
Eastern
last spot.
Conference,
That's
third
right.
place in the Metro. Yeah, with the Islanders, I mean, we already talked about the coaching thing plenty. It has been if I was an Islanders fan, I don't know. I would be optimistic about what's to come next year for sure, but I'd also be a little beaten up over this. I mean, this is a team that I think everybody expected to be out of the playoffs this year a lot better than anybody thought they'd be. The, ascension of Matthew Schaefer to all-star level has been incredible to watch. Obviously cut some of their old core loose, traded Noah Dobson at the beginning of this year. That was a big deal. Could Schaefer fill the shoes? Obviously, that question's been answered. Lou Lamoriello was out as GM, a new era. And then they go all in. They get Braden Shen at the deadline there. They're thinking this is our time and just knocked right out. And like you said, 3-7-0 and their past 10 is a horrible look. If I was an Islanders fan, I don't know. I'd be a little shaken up right now. This is a team that might have a bright future, but you got to see what they're going to do, come off season time. I mean, is it time to really push to be winners here, or are they going to coast like they usually do? And let's be honest, they usually coast. So I don't know. I don't know. Very interesting there for the Islanders. But yeah, as you were saying, we've come down to the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference needing to be filled. Third place in the Metro. We have the Flyers at 94 points. The Capitals, who have just come out of nowhere lately with 93, and then good old Columbus hanging in there with 92. What a tight race we have.
If you'd asked me at the beginning of the season which of those three teams was going to finish third in the Metro, I would not have. I would have no idea. Like,
Maybe Washington. Maybe.
I was like, I wouldn't even have thought those three teams would be, that would be the three teams fighting for that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Washington just has a little bit of a surge lately. They won today and kept their hopes alive. Ov waved off all of the handshake line with Pittsburgh and put a lot of thoughts in people's minds that he's going to play one more, but we'll see there.
I personally think he's playing one more. If we're going into that conversation, I think Ovi and Malkin are both signing up for one more. I think they're coming. It's
Yeah.
it's not over for these guys. You could tell they love the game so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Washington makes the playoffs, 100%, I could see that again. And then Malkin after this year, yeah, I agree. I can see him signing,
A 2 or
one
3
more.
year deal, honestly.
Yeah.
Like actually, I can see Malkin playing for a little bit longer, but yeah, I think Ovi is here to stay. I mean, I was talking about this with a coworker of mine. He's like, "This is Ovi's last year, huh?" Yeah, he's a loose fan, watches every now and then. But yeah, I mean, after the whole thing with the email for season ticket holders, and then they immediately delete it, like that was in the off season, so that was a sign for me that he probably told ownership, "Listen, like I'm going for it." Maybe it was up in the air or something, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You never know. I mean,
but
some surprising offseason stuff could happen again. It could be his last year. Maybe he just didn't want any, big send off like out in LA and stuff like that. But,
yeah,
I mean,
man, that Kopitar speech. I'm not even a Kings fan, and that was like, like good to see, tough to
yep.
see, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, with this last spot, I mean, we're looking at some good series here. I mean, we already talked last week about a Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, or I mean, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh play. I mean, that's maybe the rivalry isn't as crazy as it used to be, but I mean, this could reignite it immediately. If we get Pittsburgh, Washington, I mean, how many times have we seen that?
Hmm.
That's the old folks' home this time version of
I
that
really
argument.
think that any of these three teams would be a really good series with, did you have a guest join you?
It did have a guest join me. She knows how to open doors now. Come here. Hey,
She knows how to open doors.
honey. Come here. She's trying to crawl under the bed. Yeah, she's learned how to open doors recently. I have a little guest with me here. You want to come say hi to everybody? Come here. Come here. She's being a little shy right now.
She
She's
can't,
just like,
she's gonna
she's laying
barge in
down.
and then be shy.
She loves to crawl under the bed. Sorry, everybody, we're getting interrupted. I know. I was like, why is the door being like yanked? My new, my 5-month-old puppy has decided to join us. But she doesn't, she's a little camera shy. She just wanted to come lay in here. I'm her best friend in the house. My wife's just rolling her eyes right now. But no, you could leave the door open if there's no noise out there. She's gonna have to leave eventually, so. Sorry about that, everybody. Slight interruption. Maybe Honey will join me on the camera here in a second. We'll have another interruption.
But anyway, I think any of these three teams matching up against Pittsburgh would be an awesome series. My personal preference would definitely be like Columbus.
Really?
Yeah, I think that would
Really?
be fun. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have Columbus back in, Columbus in the playoffs, and I think they're kind of a sleeper team sometimes, man. They could put up some wins, I think.
Yeah, out of all the Columbus love that we've shown this season, gonna throw this in there. I think it'd be a waste of a spot. I think Pittsburgh would beat them in 5-6. I'm saying it right now. I think Pittsburgh would beat Columbus. I personally want Washington. I want a bit of that, old school playoff rematch there. I want to see Ovi give it his all. I want to see Sid give it his all.
Yeah.
Having those two in the playoffs. Oh, here we go. Come here. She's trying to play with me, guys. Don't bite me while I'm doing this. This is important work. But yeah, I would love to see Ovi, Sid. That's a classic matchup there in the East. But Columbus, Philadelphia, I mean, any of them would be awesome to see against Pittsburgh. So we'll see
Yeah,
how it shakes
I
out.
definitely think that Pittsburgh is a stronger team than all three of those, but I think it's I don't know. I think it would be a fun matchup against Columbus, just with kind of how they improved this year and all the moves that they made. I'd like to see it pay off a little bit.
Yeah,
With at least making the playoffs and playing a series, but
for sure.
I do agree with I think Pittsburgh will take that series, whatever it is. But
Really? You think Pittsburgh could beat any of these three?
I think Pittsburgh's a stronger team than any of those three. Yeah, I think the one they'll struggle with the most is like Philly,
Yeah.
but I think that they'll come out ahead. That's
It's a rough time here. It's a
yeah.
rough time here, y'all. Oh, she's trying. Get on the camera. We're going to have to get you out of here if it's going to be like this, unfortunately. She just sliced my finger open, so
Oh,
that's
love that. Love that.
always a great time. If you're going to get a puppy, y'all, brace for impact. Brace for impact. No, for sure. If she would stop interrupting me. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Philadelphia is the one team that would give them the most trouble. Philadelphia has some fight in them. They're just like the Islanders. They were not expected to be in this position at all. And here they are. I mean, they fought hard this season. So part of me, like, when it comes to these three teams, I think Philadelphia deserves it the most. A team that has just been down and out for the past like 5 years, and they're coming right back with this revamped roster. I love to see it, but Columbus would be very exciting as well. Columbus has, I love their players. I am a fan of so many of their players. In Washington, I don't think this has been said that much on this podcast, but I'm a quite the Ovi guy. I'm a very, very big Ovi fan. Maybe one of the biggest Ovi fans in the world.
I think we talked about it on like some of the original episodes we did, like how much of an OV fan you are.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Yeah, bringing it back. Yeah, it's like they're like it's always one of those like, oh, they're like my second team, like my fourth team.
For everybody who doesn't know this, I have like 20-second teams. So
it changes depending on who you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. So like sometimes it's the Leafs, sometimes it's the Caps, sometimes like randomly it's like Buffalo or
your second team is always like such a bandwagon team. Like
most of the time. Yeah, most of the time. I bandwagon for the fun of it. Like Jordan hates for the fun of it. I bandwagon. So it's kind of just what we do. I want to move on to another team that got eliminated. We've talked about them so many times this year. The Detroit Red Wings are eliminated from playoff contention. Like we were saying with the Islanders, if I was a fan, I'd be pretty beat up. But, I think there's a lot of optimism. With Detroit, I think there's less optimism. I think 10-year playoff drought. The Yzer plan has failed. I mean, I think we can all admit that. It's over. He's got to get fired, and I think their roster is going to look very different than it does right now come this time next year. And whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing is just for time to tell.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely kind of a letdown from how they started this season. And yeah, they are now the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL.
The new Buffalo Sabres.
The new Buffalo Sabres, yeah. Longest playoff drought in the, active playoff drought. So, I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be some changes. And I think there need to be some changes on that roster going into next season. And I don't know, even if they do make some changes, it doesn't look good for them. It just does not look hopeful at all.
It doesn't. I mean, I like what they did with their roster this year. Like, I love that they kept DeBrincat and Kane, had those two together. Dylan Larkin's a great player. I like what they did defensively, with Edvinsson and a couple of the other guys. I mean, Sider's great, Sherratt. And, the goaltending was a gamble. I love teams that take gambles, like signing a 39-year-old Cam Talbot, trading for a veteran John Gibson. Like, that could easily not work out, And it did. It did for the most part. It worked out. But did it work out enough? Obviously not. They're not the position they want to be. And what a disappointment for a team that was in a playoff position for 104 days, sometimes in first place in the division, and now eliminated.
Yeah, to slide to where they did is kind of crazy. And I think that is more of that should be the takeaway of their season more than the success that they had of the season is how they let it slip away right there. And I don't necessarily think it was a goaltending issue. I mean, I think that it didn't help having, not iffy goaltending, but they were average. They did okay. I mean, but when you really want to compete for a spot in this league, unless you're in a really terrible division, you've got to have, more than just average goaltending to keep up and to stay in the hunt.
Of course, and I think it was definitely a defensive, you can put the blame a lot on the defense, and they added Justin Falk as well. I mean, so obviously their defense was slacking all year. They had to add a new guy, and to trade a first-round pick, I mean, they were all in, and then now they're all out. But, I think it's definitely a coaching issue. It's a management issue. Like, things have always been so sideways with this team, as of late. And until they could figure out somewhere to root themselves in that ground, I don't know, when the next time they'll make playoffs is. Because are they going to go into a straight rebuild now again? Or are they going to, I don't know, have Yzerman for one more year and then just go all in on a winning roster? They could really go either way with the way the team is set up right now. So
yeah. I mean, there's some guys on that team that they need to keep around, but
yeah,
I don't think they're quite at full rebuild, but I don't think it's going to be a quick turnaround like one season or, just the off season to be back in it. I think that it's going to be a little bit longer of a process than that.
Yeah.
But never know. I mean, been wrong before. Some teams could just all of a sudden just shoot up and then,
Yeah.
be first in their division all of a sudden.
Yeah, of course. That's how things happen. Buffalo. There you go. Speaking of Buffalo, while we're still in the East, we have some playoff series officially set now. And why don't we talk about them? I mean, we're going to be coming to y'all next Sunday, so we won't be able to, fully preview some of these things before the playoffs start. But I mean, let's get into it here, man. We have Buffalo will be playing Ottawa officially right now. Well, that's not official, actually, because Montreal and Tampa could take that. But as of right now, we have Buffalo in first place. What do you think about that matchup if it's Buffalo-Ottawa?
That's, I don't think it's a tough one. I think right now, as it stands, I think the Sabres are still a better team. I think that they have, a little more scoring ability. But I can't count Ottawa out. They kind of just, again, they're one of those teams that kind of came out of nowhere all of a sudden, made a late resurgence and secured that spot. So they very well could put up a fight. I mean, I could see that being like a 7-game series right there.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of a slugfest a little bit of a way, but I think that Buffalo, ekes out the win. Man, yeah, I think it's going to be a high scoring series though.
Yeah, I do too. Ottawa, worst goaltending in the league, statistically, analytically. And Buffalo, good goaltending, but not their strongest suit, obviously. I mean, their scoring is what gets it done for them, and just their ability to hang.
And Ottawa does have really good scoring as well. I mean, they're right up there with the goal differential too. So, it's
Ottawa might be the toughest team in the league. I mean, you have Shabbat coming back from breaking his forearm 2 weeks after. That guy's nuts. I gotta shout that guy out, man. Yeah, and as of right now, Boston, Carolina. That's looking like that's what it's gonna be there. We talked about it the other week. Continue to think here. This could be the upset of the first round. This could be the major upset. And, funny enough, I feel like the Canes are the team we talk about the least on this podcast. 100%. We never talk about the Hurricanes. Maybe it's because both of us really just don't like the Hurricanes very much, but
I mean, I think it comes from the fact that they're just kind of boring.
Definitely a boring team.
Like
a good team by any means, but a boring team.
Yeah.
I have Boston in 7, dude.
Okay.
I do. I think Boston is a little more creative with their scoring. Carolina is obviously a deeper team, like roster-wise, no denying it, but Boston just hangs in there, man. The whole year is defined by hanging in there, winning close games, like keeping themselves in a position like a team that was supposed to be bad, and the resurgence.
Another team we said, we're like, oh, we talked about at the end, it's like they're gonna finish like bottom of their division.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy Swayman proved me wrong, dude. He proved me wrong. Their coaching with Marco Stern totally proved me wrong. I'm actually Boston has always been one of those teams I just didn't really care about. I'm like a Bruins fan. Shout out our boy Taylor. I'm like a Bruins fan this year. I want to see y'all go far. Boston? Okay, tell me if this is a lot. This is going to be a hot take. People are going to freak out over this one. Okay. Out of all of the wild card teams in the playoffs, Boston has the best chance of making the Stanley Cup.
I don't think that's a super hot take. I think they're one of the strongest wild card teams for sure.
I love this roster. I love what they've been able to do. I mean, you have guys like Arvidsson and Pavel Zacha who are just not really the biggest names in the league, and they're having great years. Obviously we talk about Geeky and Pasta, but, you can hear her
breaking in.
The door's locked, so she can't get in. I'm telling y'all right now, this is like the Honey episode, even though you didn't even get to see her. This dog is obsessed with me. She loves hanging out with me. She loves biting me, obviously. But She sleeps with me every night. We can post one of those pictures or something. I have a picture. But she loves sleeping with me every night. That's just what she does. Everybody, if you don't have, if you're in your 20s, go get a puppy. It's a fun little experiment. Both me and Jordan have done it before.
Yeah.
She's done trying to break in. But yeah, Boston, man. Boston, I love the team. I think them matched up against Carolina is like great. I think they match up very evenly at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I do, like I said, agree with your take that Boston is one of the strongest wildcard teams. I could see them performing really well. I could see them, I don't know, like going to the cup final is pretty lofty of a goal for where we thought they were at the beginning of the season. Crazy things have happened.
Well, I'm not saying they'll make it, but of all the wild card teams, they have the best chance, in my
True.
opinion. They're built for that. They have guys who have seen deep playoff runs and all of that. So, I mean, we'll see. Should be interesting. We spent a lot of time in the East, man. Let's bring it on back home. Go where we belong. We have a couple teams that have clinched. We'll start with the good old Pacific Division here and all the great competition that we see in it every week. Said nobody.
Everybody knows the best division in hockey right now, the most entertaining division, the strongest division in hockey, the Pacific.
Yep. It's West Coast living, laid back, lazy, not doing anything.
I'm calling everybody out.
No. We love our West Coast listeners. We love our California listeners. California teams. Let's just start there. What's going on here? We got a little bit of a fight. It's the same as the Metro Division. We have a little bit of a brawl going on here between the three of them. They're fighting for a wild card spot. They're fighting for third place too, actually. Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. Your San Jose Sharks, man. I know you love them. They have been losing games, man. They lost a crucial one to Anaheim on Friday night. And I mean, that was just such a tough loss for them, getting shut out, and it puts them way behind here.
Yeah, they have to win every single one of their next coming games. Their next 3 games, they have to win every single one.
Let me see. I want to take a look here. Let's see who they're playing. We have the Predators, Blackhawks, and Jets. Those are all winnable games. Like, actually winnable games. But they also have to count on Anaheim and LA losing. Oh. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Sharks, dark horse here, man. Uphill battle. Battle. We might have to just count them out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the main slots are going to hold. I think the only thing that's going to change maybe before the end of the season is that wild card 2. I hope it doesn't, because I would much rather Colorado play LA than Nashville, but Nashville might, they might pull it out. They might, they might win out. I mean, they just have to count on a Los Angeles, loss. And if they tie with them, I think they have the tiebreaker, so they'll take the spot. But it's pretty close, man. It's
one of the worst scenarios that could happen for Colorado here is if Anaheim ends up in that wild card 2 spot.
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. I mean, they would give y'all a harder time than any of these other teams that could end up there. Let's be honest.
I mean, really the only team that I'm actually legitimately concerned if them playing is the Predators.
Really?
Because they just, for some reason,
they
struggle against the Predators. All those other teams I think they could beat in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, I am hoping, God please, let Anaheim get third place in this division. If we have to watch another Edmonton-LA series in the playoffs again, I don't think I honestly won't watch the series. I'm saying that to the listeners. I won't watch it. Jordan will have to cover it on his own. I can't do it anymore. I'm so sick and tired of just seeing Edmonton dog walk them every year. Like, LA shouldn't even qualify for the playoffs at this point. I just put Winnipeg in the Pacific Division. Like, speaking of which, how the hell is Winnipeg?
Is Winnipeg here? Even like close? Dude, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Like, what happened here? A team that went from at one point being bottom in the league to now being almost in a wildcard spot is, again, this season has been so weird. It's been so up and down.
It's the nature of the NHL, guys. It is legit the nature of the NHL. Winnipeg, who by all means has been a bad team this year. Like, actually, President's Trophy to bottom of the league at one point, and now almost in a playoff spot. I mean, the NHL might have the best competition of any sports league in the world. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. Like, and all credit to Winnipeg's offense. This team was a defensive team last year. Kyle Connor, shout out Mark Scheifele, top 10 in points this year. Nobody brings that up. Super underrated guy. Didn't make Team Canada. I'm not even Canadian. I'm pissed about it. It's ridiculous. But
Could have been the difference maker.
yeah, sucks to be losers if we're bringing that up again. But yeah, no, Winnipeg Jets still in this. I mean, definitely very unlikely that them or San Jose find their way into a wild card 2 spot here, but it's kind of just looking like a Nashville, Anaheim, LA dance going on right now. Kind of the 3 teams we've suspected. I personally think Anaheim's going to take that number 3 spot. Let's see who they end the year with here. What's their last 3 games coming up? They have 2 games left, so they play the Wild and the Predators. That's the end of the Predators. That's huge implications. Last game of the year. This might come down to the wire till Thursday.
Yep. Luckily, I think they'll probably, with the Wild, they'll have an easier time because I think they're going to probably rest a bunch of guys. They're gonna.
I was surprised Colorado didn't rest more guys against Vegas last night, after clinching President's Trophy. But
yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of, but I think they just were finishing their homestand, and then once they go on this road trip, they will. I think they've already called up a couple players. Got to rest their coach now. Great.
What happened?
Did you see that?
No, I probably fell asleep. What's going on? Get me in the loop.
He took a puck to the side of the head and had like fractured bones and like a cut in his eye. He's not even going on the road trip.
I mean, honestly, you've clinched President's Trophy. Screw it. Like, just do your thing.
Yeah. Like, in a game, I mean, that game last night against Vegas meant nothing for the team.
Yeah.
It literally didn't matter.
Meant everything for Vegas.
Correct. It did. Yes, Vegas did clinch a playoff spot with that win, and now first in their division. But
I don't know, man. But them and Edmonton is by 1 point.
So crazy. That's so crazy. It's like, yeah, guys, we clinched the division, and we're now first. It's like,
yeah, clinch playoffs.
You haven't done that yet? You're first in the division. You haven't clinched a playoff spot yet? It's so crazy.
Crazy. Well, Vegas will be playing Utah as of right now. That's a good series. One that nobody's talking about. If it holds up. I mean, I think Utah could beat Edmonton. I think Utah would struggle to beat Vegas a little bit. But I don't know, man. This year is so up in the air. So up in the air. And, next weekend we're going to have a lot more context and a lot more official matchups that we could kind of break down. Because when does the playoffs officially start?
Next Saturday.
All right, guys, officially saying it right now. Emergency Friday episode. Expect the episode Saturday morning.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know availability on that. Well, I didn't know about availability on that. We'll have to discuss. That was a Brian saying that. We'll have to reevaluate the schedule.
Yeah, we do both work.
Maybe a early Saturday.
Yeah, maybe
episode.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We got to try and cover this, but it's all coming at me right now. But yeah, the Western Conference, man, definitely a little more lackluster than the East. Teams have been eliminated for a while, but it's kind of what we're working with here. And Edmonton, Vegas, both officially clinched playoff spots. That's the big deal. So we know they'll both be in the race here. It's just a matter of who's going to play who. But when it comes to the West, I don't know. I feel like, do I want to start saying there's some sleepers, some crazy upsets? Something in me is telling me that this year there's either going to be a bunch of upsets or it's going to be exactly how everybody predicts. There's not going to be any gray area.
I'm hoping it's the no gray area way, obviously. That's to the benefit of me and my team. That's what I would prefer. But
yeah, I mean, who knows? Colorado doesn't have to be upset, and the Stars don't have to be upset, but everybody else could be upset. Doesn't work that way.
Us will be upset after round 2 if that happens.
Hopefully neither of us are upset after round 1 because it's going to be bleak. It's going to be tough to continue the show. Yeah. That's for sure.
Announcing our retirement from the podcasting game after round 1 of the playoffs. If we both, can you imagine if they both lose? It's like, guys, we're just shutting down. We're just
Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. Like, guys, we thought things were going to be different. We can't do this anymore.
Yep. Because I'm just too distraught.
If Dallas loses in round 1, this is going to be the most anti-Minnesota Wild podcast on the internet. Like, I will literally just dog on them for like a month.
Yeah. The Minnesota Mild and the Dallas Stars.
All right, bro. I'm chill with the Wild, but relax. But listen, y'all, I mean, we weren't coming at y'all with a crazy episode today. I mean, we're kind of just talking about who's in and who's out. That's kind of the big stories right now.
Yeah, there's gonna be some last couple pushes here at the end, and that's gonna determine those last couple spots. And I think that's really the only like interesting thing that's gonna happen this week, because a lot of these teams that have clinched and there's really no movement in their positionings are gonna rest a bunch of their players. So it's not gonna. Yeah. A lot of them don't matter because it's Central's locked up. It's set. And I mean, Pacific is really the Pacific in that last third place spot, and the Metro is really all it's gonna be.
And Wildcard 2.
Yeah, Wildcard 2.
And
yeah,
that's
in the West.
But yeah, spots are getting filled, y'all. And last week of the regular season came too fast. Came way too fast.
Too fast. But now we get playoff hockey coming up.
Yeah, absolute best. Absolute.
Is it
best.
worth it? We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm a big fan of both.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. This has been such a crazy year. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for all the engagement. Thank you for the follows, the likes, everything. TikTok, we're almost at 500 followers. We're 6 followers away. Push us there. Come on, guys. And yeah, go follow us on all the socials. We appreciate all the support. And we will see y'all in the next one.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that last week, and we will see everybody in the next one.